Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
O People of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Just check if I'm going out. As usual, sometimes I have problems with the mic, so before we actually start, let's do a check and see. Okay, let the YouTube go through and we'll check it out and see. There's a little lapse between them, so see if my voice is going out first. If not, we'll just adjust it and see. And before we go anywhere, let's see. I think this is the one, yeah. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Let's just check and see. 1 second. Right. Yes, I am going out. Khalas, and yes, confirmed. Confirmed through YouTube that it's going out. So let's carry on. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. And welcome to our People of the Book. And welcome to our weekly show, which is from monogamy to polygamy. It's been going on for a while. And alhamdulillah, I hope that you're benefiting from it. And whatever, whatever I have in my knowledge, I'm trying to share with you. As usual, we're going through that book, the book that I'm always showing you, from monogamy to polygamy. And this is a program that's trying to convince brothers and sisters of how to do polygamy, and to do it right, and also for the sisters who are refusing to enter into polygamy, to educate. This is an educational program, nothing to do with attacking anybody or taking somebody's side or whatever. It's to do more with them. Is to do more with education than anything else. So anyway, since I've confirmed that we're on air, let us go through what I wanted to go through. There is right. Okay, there's some sound coming from my YouTube there. Okay, fine. So now what we're going to do. There is a question that was asked to a sheikh concerning a wife refusing polygamy. Okay, polygyny. Okay, I prefer to address it as polygyny than polygamy, and this is the answer that was given. Okay, for hating polygyny, a woman doesn't have the right to hate something that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has given the decree on. Yeah, so we'll just go through this fatwa by the sheikh before we move on and go into other books or whatever. So we will go to this 1 second. Right. Okay, so we'll go to this now.
المفهوم الصحيح للإسلام بمعنى المنهج الذي كان عليه السلف.
Right, so we'll
هل كراهية التعدد
okay
يعد ناقضا للإسلام؟ وما نصيحتكم للنساء اللاتي يعارضن التعدد ويطلبن الطلاق؟
Okay, so now the question that is being asked here is disliking polygamy. I would say polygyny, but like I said, they keep using the word polygamy. Is disliking polygyny considered to be a form of from the nullifiers of Islam? And what is your advice to those women who are against polygyny and request request divorce if they face it? Okay, so this is a question that's been asked to Sheikh Ubaid al-Jabiri. Okay, and this is okay. Let's carry on with it.
أولا إن كان يكره الشعيرة نفسها، يكره هذه السنة، فهذا ركب شعبة من شعب الكفر، فليتق الله. عدد أو لم يعدد، هذا شيء آخر راجع إليه هو، لأن الله عز وجل قال فانت.
Okay, so what he answers here now, his answer is Sheikh Ubaid bin Abdullah bin Jabiri mentions. Firstly, if the individual dislikes the legislation itself, they hate this sunnah, then this person has a trait of kufr, okay, unbelief. If you hate it, oh, I don't want to know, I hate it, I don't want to hear my husband, this type of talk against it. Yeah. Now, this has a trait of kufr. The person has a trait of kufr within them. So let them fear Allah, whether the individual acts upon polygyny or not. This is a separate affair, which returns with him, because Allah has said. Then he mentions the verse of the Quran.
هذا شيء آخر راجع إليه هو، لأن الله عز وجل قال فانكحوا ما طاب لكم من النساء. Okay, so Allah mentions in the Quran, then marry of women of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. But if you fear that you should not be able to deal justly with them. Now we know we've been through this ayah before, and I don't have to go through it again. That Allah starts with 2 and then with 3 and then whatever. We're just going through the fatwa of the Sheikh. This is Surah An-Nisa for those of you who don't know. Surah An-Nisa, verse 3. Yeah. Okay. مثنى وثلاث ورباع فإن خفتم ألا تعدلوا فواحدة. الآية. قال أهل العلم الأصل هو التعدد، والاكتفاء بواحدة رخصة، فالممنوع.
Okay, so in that, then let's go back. Okay, The Shaykh then says the people of knowledge have explained that the origin of the origin of marriage is polygyny, and sufficing with one is a concession. I keep saying that every time, like I keep mentioning that the origin of marriage is polygyny. Everywhere was polygynous, and monogamy was a concession. So even the Sheikh is saying that to us now. So for those of you who are kind of have problems and thinking, or even the non-Muslims who keep questioning, oh, why do Muslims have 4 wives, or do Muslims have 4 wives? The origin of marriage is polygyny, and marrying one is a concession. Okay.
واحدة رخصة. فالممنوع إذن هو كراهة هذه السنة. هذا هو الذي يعد من نواقض الإسلام، وقد فصلنا فيه في حينه وخلصنا إلى أن المرأة لها.
Okay, so it says therefore the prohibition to hate this sunnah, and the type of hatred is from, and this type of hatred is from the nullifiers of Islam. So this is a warning to the sisters, when they talk about polygyny, when they talk about their hatred for it, it's one of the nullifiers of Islam. And this is coming from our shuyukh, not from me, and I'm showing you on the screen as well as evidence for it as well, yeah? We have explained this previously, and we concluded that there are 2 solutions pertaining to women in this. So this is what the Sheikh is saying, okay? So then...
الحالة الأولى كراهية أن يشاركها أحد في زوجه، يعني كراهية.
Okay, so the first situation is her hatred that anybody should share her husband, meaning she dislikes that he should marry another woman. Now, it is something that is understandable, the jealousy and everything. It's understandable, even the wives of the Sahaba had that jealousy in them. We've gone through a hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, where there were instances and everything where they were actually jealous, yeah. So meaning that she dislikes that he should marry another wife, okay, another woman, okay. Then okay,
أن يتزوج زوجها عليها. هذا أمر فطرت عليه، وإنما يحرم عليها أن تؤذيه في نفسه أو ماله أو تستعدي أهلها أو أهله.
Okay, so now the Sheikh is saying this is something that she has been created with. So we cannot blame her for this, and she should know that she's been created with this, and she has to know how to act accordingly. However, what is forbidden is to harm her husband, his wealth, or to bring forth his or her family for arbitration. Now, we know that there's been cases where women have done worse, like, they've tried to kill their husbands, they've tried to slaughter parts of his body as well, like, as like, in revenge or in anger or whatever. And this is all haram. This is all haram. If they don't like it, they should know how to deal with it. Okay, it's something that Allah has ordained, something that Allah has decreed, and we cannot hate it, and we cannot cause any harm to the husband or bring any family for arbitration, and we cannot make affect his wealth. Break things, make you have to spend more money, or this type of thing.
أو تستعدي أهلها أو أهله.
Okay.
هذا هو الذي يحرم عليها، وهذا هو الذي يترتب عليه الوعيد الشديد. وإن هجرت فراشه فهي ملعونة حتى تصبح بنص رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Okay, so he mentions there, this is what is impermissible for her, and what a severe punishment has been mentioned concerning it. So our sisters, like I said, this is an educational program that educates the brothers and the sisters to advise us to go back to the Quran and Sunnah, and at the same time to kind of take us away from, like, the punishment of Allah, the anger of Allah, when in this case. So what it says here now, what it says is, this is impermissible for her, and what a severe punishment has been mentioned concerning it. And if she were to refuse to share the bed with him, then she is cursed until the morning. Now, the fact that that he's taken another wife and he's told her about it or whatever, and she refuses to share his bed, we know the hadith that if a woman, I think this is the hadith that the Sheikh is going to mention here, that if a man calls his wife to his bed and the wife refuses, then the malaika are angry with her until the next morning or whatever. Anyway, we'll mention the hadith when we see it. So we see that there is a punishment that goes with it. So that our sisters who hate polygamy have to be very careful in how they address it. We know, we've mentioned several times, it is something natural. Jealousy is something natural. But through the books that I've been going through, we've been going through this stuff of jealousy. We went through it in other lessons. I hope you go through it and you can understand how the wives of the Sahaba, how they handled the jealousy and everything. Yeah. So there's a punishment that goes with it, and it's mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ in the following hadith.
نعم. الحالة الثانية أن تكره هذه السنة.
Okay.
هذا كفر. نعم. وما علمنا مسلمة تصنع هذا ولله الحمد.
Okay, so the second situation. One second. Oh, I lost it there. Yeah. The second situation is that she hates this sunnah. The second situation is that she hates this sunnah, and this is kufr. We do not know of a believing woman who does so, and all praise is due to Allah. Okay, so all praise is due to Allah. We do not know of a woman who hates this sunnah, and this is kufr. Okay, this is what the Sheikh is saying. This is the fatwa, and then he goes on to say,
وأنصح بناتنا المسلمات أن ينقدن لحكم الله عز وجل. فإذا تزوج زوجها أخرى أن تضبط نفسها وأن تتحكم في عاطفتها وأن تحكم العقل ولا تعادي زوجها ولا تعادي المسكينة.
Okay, so the Sheikh now says, however, I advise our Muslim daughters, our sisters, our daughters, or whatever, that they submit to the legislation of Allah. This is the legislation of Allah, and Allah has decreed it. And we know the verse that if Allah and His Rasul has decreed something, who are we to have an opinion? Okay, so the Sheikh is saying, for the sake of the sister, we went through the hadith that the sisters who they are patient and with ta'addud, and they go through it, although they're suffering, they go through it. They get the reward of the man in the battlefield who is raising that sword to fight, and the fear that is in his heart that he's going to die. They get that same reward by just accepting it. Yeah. So he's advising our sisters, our daughters, to submit to this. So if their husband were to marry another woman, she should compose herself, control her emotions, govern her intellect, and not harm her husband or the other woman. Okay. Now this is interesting. It's very interesting here, because we mentioned before that, she should compose herself, her jealousy, knowing that she will be jealous. We know that it's something natural. Her emotions. We went through the book about emotions, and we're still going to go through a few phases, which is going to mention this. Govern her intellect. I mean, Allah has given her an intellect, and she uses it on how to go through it, and not harm her husband or the woman he marries. Now, I mentioned earlier on how so many women, because they hear the husband had taken another wife, they've actually tried to kill him, or even, cut his genitals off. It has happened many of times.
That, like, so much jealousy that the man is going to be having another wife, sleeping with another wife. So this is all that comes to the woman's mind. I think we done that before about issues of sex and, like, not sharing sex and everything, like, so this is all what comes to her mind. So she would prefer to actually harm the husband, his genitals, than to actually accept it, or cause harm to the sister that he married. The sister that he married may not be the one who initiated the marriage. Her husband wanted another wife. He approached the sister, and so it is not actually her fault. She's entered into the family, and harm should not be done to her. The sister should, the first wife should not pick up the phone and shout at her and fight with her, or go in front of her door, or actually damage something that belongs to her car. That's not the way she should act. And the Sheikh is saying that
أخرى وأنصح الرجل الذي عدد أن يعدل بين نسائه في المبيت والكسوة والسكنة، كل ما يقدر عليه عدل فيه. نعم.
Okay, so we've spoken about this several times as well. Advice to the brothers. Now he gives advice to the brothers, gave advice to the sisters, now he gives advice to the brothers. He says, similarly, I advise a man who embarks on polygamy to be fair between his wives regarding the allocation of nights, clothing, housing, as well as any other matter. I don't know if you've watched my first series that I done about polygyny, the book that was written by Dr. Bilal Phillips, and he goes in detail there how the allocation should be done of nights, of sharing and everything, to share everything equally. He should be fair in as much as he is able. So this is clear, yeah. It should be clear that the brothers themselves, the sisters are given warning on how they should handle it, and the brothers as well. That you've taken another wife, you've gone into polygyny. Okay, fair enough. Done. Deal is done. As though what's her name? The sisters accepted or whatever to control herself. Now you, as the brother, you need to control yourself. You need to kind of be fair on the nights that you give them fairly their nights. Clothing. You buy something for one wife, you buy it for another. Or you're not supposed to buy exactly the same for her. You might have one wife who's got 5 shoes. She doesn't need any more shoes. The other one doesn't. So you give the other one, but this one you can give her something else. Ask her, maybe, bought something for her. What do you need? What do you want? Or maybe give her the money, the equivalent, whichever. But you have to be fair on that, and the housing as well. You cannot I spoke to one brother last time on a Facebook group, and he mentioned that, you can make a wife live in poverty or whatever, while the other wife is in a big house. No, you can't make her live in poverty. It's not her choice. This wasn't her choice to live in poverty. Okay, fine. If one wife has got 5 children and the other wife has got 1 child, then obviously you're not going to give them the same type of housing. It's obvious, yeah. The one that's got more children, if your first wife maybe got more children, and this one doesn't have any children, so obviously the housing would be different. But you still have to, be fair, and house them. And that brother, like I said, we spoke in the Facebook group. He was saying that, you can make the wife live in poverty. No, you don't make the wife live. If you cannot afford it, then don't do it. Yeah.
عليه عدل فيه. نعم.
Okay.
تقول وما نصيحتكم للنساء اللاتي يعارضن التعدد ويطلبن الطلاق.
Okay, now we come to the point where the brother's asking again the other question now. What is your advice for those women who are against polygyny, and they seek divorce on those grounds? We know that divorce is allowed. We know that the sister has the right to seek divorce if she's not happy. Okay, but we see now how the Sheikh answers this.
Okay. Before I carry on, I just like to remind you that you're watching our People of the Book, and our usual Saturday stream from monogamy to polygamy, polygyny, I would say. And we're going through Sheikh Al-Jabari's fatwa concerning polygamy, and concerning the sisters who are asking for divorce for it. Advice to the brothers and the sisters here. So let's carry on.
هذا خطأ. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم: أيما امرأة سألت طلاقها بغير ما بأس فحرام عليها رائحة الجنة.
Okay, so this is the advice that the Sheikh is giving. Yeah, Sheikh Ubaid Al-Jabari, Hafidhullah, he says, the Prophet ﷺ says this is a mistake. The Prophet ﷺ said, any woman who seeks divorce without a valid reason will not smell the fragrance of paradise. Now, Islamically, that is not a valid reason. If your husband is looking after you well, he's putting a roof over your head, never raised a hand on you, giving you your food, giving you everything, you got a family with him, you're going to break up that family now if you also ask for divorce. So then that woman is considered as those who are asking for divorce without a valid reason. That does not become a reason now, although it is your right. You have that right, but it's not a valid reason. If he was abusive, if after he took that wife, he stopped giving you your rights, he became abusive to you, he became abusive to you or whatever, and he wasn't fulfilling your rights, his family, then that's a different question now. Yeah, but for just anything, he got married today, he got married, I'm not happy with it, I asked for divorce. No. Okay, and this is from Sunan Tirmidhi, number 1187, and Sheikh Al-Albani has classified it as Sahih. So we understand, yeah, you have the right, the sisters have the right, if your husband now changes, he gets married to another wife, he takes care of her, doesn't give you anything, doesn't pay the rent for you, and he starts shouting at you when he shouldn't, now he becomes aggressive to you, his manners has changed completely, now he starts being aggressive towards you or whatever, and abusive, then yeah, you have grounds there. But if he now is loving you just as much as he loved her, or maybe even more now, because some brothers, in order not to do injustice to the first wife, they will love them even more. They will show them even love even more, that I still love you, not because I've taken the other wife that I don't love you. Now you don't go around and say and see the qadi now, and say, oh, my husband still loves me, still does good to me, still gives me my haqq, but I want divorce. They're not going to accept that, okay, because of this hadith and others as well. Okay.
فحرام عليها رائحة الجنة.
Okay.
هذه جمعت بين مصيبتين، إحداهما يخشى عليها من الكفر بسببها، وهي معارضة التعدد.
Okay, so now this woman, he says, has combined between two calamities. The first, that we fear that she's fallen into kufr due to it, and it is her opposition to polygamy. Okay, that there are two calamities that the sister has fallen into.
معارضة التعدد. فهذه أقل ما يقال أنها سفيهة، يعني إذا قيل أنها تعارض زوجها وتناقشه وتحاجه ألا يعدد، هذه سفيهة. وإن كانت تعارض شرع الله فهذه كافرة.
Okay, right. At least, which can be said about this woman, is that she is feeble-minded. She's feeble-minded, she's not thinking, she's lost her mind or whatever, and in this case, if it is the case,
that she is in opposition to her husband, and she argues and debates with him that he should not get married, she's feeble-minded. And if she rejects the legislation of Allah, then she's an unbeliever. There's two different issues here now, okay? The fact that, like, she could say to him, like, I'm not happy what you've done, or you're not fulfilling my haqq, or whatever, or you didn't let me know, you kept it a secret, or whatever, like, I have no objections or whatever with you taking another wife, but you didn't tell me. That's one thing. Or she turns around and says, I don't want to know this word polygamy in this house. I don't want to hear you taking another wife. If you take another wife, then leave me. I don't want to know. Then she's an unbeliever. This is the way the Sharia is explaining. So there's two issues there. She may be feeble-minded and, like, her opposition, to it, and she would debate with her husband in a good way. In a good way or whatever, then fine. She's just feeble-minded then. Yeah. But when she goes against the legislation of Allah, then this is where the worry comes in. Okay.
الجريمة الثانية أنها سألت الطلاق بغير ما بأس. هذا ليس فيه بأس. نعم.
Okay, so the second calamity now, the second question that was asked, 1 second. Yeah, the second calamity is that she has asked for divorce without a justified cause, and there's no justification for this due to polygamy. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier on, the action of polygamy itself is not a right to ask for divorce. So you go, your husband comes in and tells you, I've taken another wife. So you walk out the door, I'm going to the court and I'm going to ask him for a divorce. No, it doesn't work like that. The Qadi will not give you divorce. Like I said, unless there is abuse, unless he changes, unless he doesn't give you your haqq or whatever, because the Qadi will ask you, does he fulfill your haqq? Has he put a roof over your head? Does he feed you? Does he clothe you? Is he just to you? The same thing that he's buying with the other wife. Is he giving you? So what is the reason to break up the family? What is the reason for you asking divorce? You see? Although divorce is accepted in Islam, but it's something that is disliked. And it is something that the Ummah is going through a lot at the moment. And this is why I'm trying to, use the little knowledge that I have, that Allah has bestowed upon me, to try and, help our brothers and sisters to get out of this calamity. And in the situation that we're going in at the moment, you can see how there is a big demand for polygyny, and that minds need to be changed. Sisters need to sit down and think, think carefully and whatever, and brothers need to sit down and kind of assess themselves in the way they conduct themselves in polygyny. Okay, so let's carry on.
نعم. وقد ذكرت حين تكلمت على هذه المسألة في ناقض مضى لعله الخامس أو السادس، لا أدري الآن، والخامس الشيخ. نعم. أن نساء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رضي الله عنهن كن يجتمعن عند صاحبة الليلة، فيتسامر الجميع مع وقتا ثم تنصرف كل منهن إلى بيتها.
Okay, right. And like he said, I have mentioned when I spoke about this topic, I believe it is the 5th or the 6th nullifier, that the wives of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may Allah be pleased with them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, the Prophet, may Allah be pleased with them, that they would gather at the house of the wife whose night it is. Okay, so the Prophet had 9 wives. Okay, they would all gather in her house till a certain time. Obviously, they'll give the Prophet time with his wife. Yeah, they would gather there until it is for a certain period of time, and then they will leave, and all of them go to their houses. So they would gather all at the house of the wife whose night it is, with the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they would all converse, together, eating, drinking, whatever, and then when their time comes, they go home. They used to live right next to each other. Some of them, I understand, used to live on top, and some at the bottom or whatever. That's how they conducted themselves. Okay.
فلماذا لا يكون لكن يا نساء المسلمات في أمهاتكن أسوة حسنة.
Okay, so why is there not for you, O believing women, within your mothers, for a good example, for what an excellent example this is? So why you, our sisters, now don't take that example rather than bickering and fighting and some used to beat their heads against the wall and whatever, take the children and go and stuff like that? Why then now do you not follow the example of the Sahabia? Gather together, meet at night, read Quran, teach the sisters hadith, and have some tea. One of them cooks a cake or whatever, and time to go home. Go home. If there is 1, 2, 3, or 4, they gather together and. So he's saying, "Oh, believing." So why is there not for you, oh believing women? Is there, the Sheikh now is talking to our sisters within your mothers, within your mothers, which is the Ummahat al-Mu'minin, a good example. What an excellent example this is. What an excellent example they were. Why don't we take their advice? We say we're following the Sunnah, we're following the Salaf, we're following the Sunnah wal Jama'ah. But when it comes to this, no, thank you. We don't follow this Sunnah. So this is why the advice now that the Sheikh is giving is to follow their Sunnah and don't ask for divorce or whatever. The Prophet ﷺ's wife had asked him for divorce, but not on the grounds of ta'addud. There were issues that had happened there when money was coming in, and more money was coming to the Ummah and everything. They wanted a raise. They wanted a raise in the stipend that they were getting. And because the Prophet ﷺ wasn't giving them, they asked for divorce. Not because of ta'addud, not because of polygyny, but because of the issue of their cost of living. That's what they were asking for divorce for. Not for ta'addud, polygyny.
فنعمة الأسوة. ولما تزوج زينب رضي الله، ولما تزوج صلى الله عليه وسلم زينب رضي الله عنها، كان يتقرى الحجر، يتتبعها، فكلما مر على واحدة سلم وردت عليه السلام، ثم تقول: يا رسول الله كيف أهلك؟ بارك الله لك فيها.
Okay. All right. So see how they were. Okay. He gives the example of Zainab radiallahu anha. Okay. He said he would when the Prophet ﷺ used to go to his wives, whenever he passed by one of them's houses and she saw him or whatever, she would give him salam and give salam to the wife as well. She would send salam to the wife who is going to. Okay, so he's going to one wife. The other wife sees him. Ya Rasulullah, how is your wife? How is your wife? The wife that he's going to. Not her. I'm not asking about herself. How am I? I'm your wife as well. How is your wife? The one that he's going to. May Allah bless her for you. See how they were doing. They were sending blessings on each other, not bickering, picking up the phone and fighting, and taking the children away and fighting with the husbands and all that. No. And this is the example that the Sheikh is giving our sisters to take. to be kind to the other sister, because they're supposed to be co-wives, helping one another, doing things that doing things together. So when the Prophet ﷺ used to go to one wife, he goes past one wife's house, the other wife sees him, she sends salam to him and sends salam to the wife that he's going to see, and send blessings as well. May Allah bless her for you. See how they work? Okay, so this is the answer that the Sheikh is giving now.
بارك الله لك فيها. أما الآن السفيهات تظن إذا قال السلام عليكم تقول لا عليك سلام ولا بارك الله لك.
Okay, well, the Sheikh now refers to our sisters of today. As for now, the feeble-minded women, I think, if her husband was to say to her Assalamu alaikum, she would not answer him. Yeah, she would not answer him. She would ignore him or whatever, and she will not even say Allah bless you and your wife that you're going to. This is how bad it has become. This is how he's just giving a little summary of it. There's even more worse than that. He could come through the door and she could take something and throw at him and and stuff like that and start fighting. And this is where this verse of what's her name as well comes in now, where the non-Muslims always say that you have the right to beat your wife or whatever. When she goes into a rage. She goes into a rage for something that she should not go into a rage. Then you are told to not share the bed with her, and warn her not share the bed with her. By that time, she should have behaved herself. By that time, there is no need of even taking the miswak and beating her. Like I keep saying that the non-Muslims said that they don't think when they talk. When you reach that point now, at that point, the woman shouldn't have even reached that point now. To go mad or whatever. This is something that she should not have reached. Anyway, so this is what the Sheikh is saying now. She's feeble-minded. He's considering that feeble-minded and not kufr, because of the fact that it's happening between her and her husband, and she's her judgment is wrong or whatever. But when she actually denies the actual decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is where it gets worrying.
بارك الله لك. هذا الشيطان أزهن أزا. نعم.
Okay, so this is from Shaitan, and he incites her to do evil. Okay, so we can see now Sheikh Jabari what he says. So I hope this is an nasiha for our sisters, and our sisters and our brothers as well, how to handle yourself. Because we are in a time where there is a big need for ta'addud. There's a big need for it. We can see our sisters, how they're getting divorced, brothers are getting killed, at war and stuff. Different situations are happening. And what do we do with our sisters? We can't leave them. Yeah, we have to find a solution for them, and Allah has found that solution. But now, if the sisters now take it as wrong, take it as bad, take it as taboo, take it as whatever, then Allah is sending a solution for you, and you are undermining Allah's solution. You are undermining Allah's decree. This is why the Sheikh said there is it's twofold. If she's just not happy and she raises the question with her husband and in a good way, then fine, she's feeble-minded, she's forgiven for that. But when she actually now goes against the decree of Allah, then she falls into kufr. And we don't want our sisters to fall into kufr. So obviously, and this is why, we have to give nasiha, and whether the sister will take nasiha or not, that's another thing. I'd like to remind you once again that you're watching our People of the Book, and you're watching. This is your brother Jamal, and we are going through the book from monogamy to polygamy. For polygyny, I don't like the word polygamy. It has another connotation, and so we're going through this book, and I hope that I'm able to convey this message to you. Let's get back to the book now. For those of you who don't have the book, just give me a second. I'll just bring it and show you. Just a minute. Let me just
close the camera. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. So for those of you who don't have the book, this is for those of you who have the book or who don't have it. This is the one. Yeah. If you want to go and get the book, it's a very, very good book, From Monogamy to Polygamy, a way through, and it's written by two sisters. There you can see Abdurrahman Hirschfelder and Yasmin Rahman. Okay, so these are the two sisters who have written it, and they're giving you the advice on there from a sister's point of view. Okay, so it's coming from a sister. No, you can't say that, like, this is a man talking or whatever, and like, this is a man guiding the sisters. Okay, so now we've reached page 87. We reach phase 3, growth and change. Phase 3, the letters L and M, is the final stage of the healing process. We're going to the for those of you who missed out the earlier parts, I'd advise you to go and re-watch them from the beginning. We're going through the actual psychology, the female psychology, the steps that she goes through when her husband takes another wife and whatever, and yeah, so we've reached the final stage, the healing process. The uncontrollable emotions that have plagued the woman throughout the ordeal are not so uncontrollable and unbearable anymore. However, in this phase, the woman will experience some of the same emotions, but her ability to cope and manage these will improve. Like we mentioned earlier on, that you have to control your emotions and everything. We've reached this phase now that the woman will be able to control her emotions. So we go into emotion, coping with it. Finally, the woman will attempt to deal with and overcome problems, difficulties within the marriage. So now, she's reached a different stage where she's kind of calmed down and she's understood what's going on and whatever. It's taken a bit of time, obviously, and she now starts coping with it and overcome the problems and difficulties within the marriage. The effect in this stage, the woman will essentially face reality and stop running away from it. This is the pain and this is very painful and deeply uprooting process. Okay, so she's reached a stage now where she's not gonna, she's gonna face the facts now. This has happened. Husband's got them married to another wife, and I've been through all the stage of anger, of this, or that, or the other. Now, time to face it. Okay, time to face it. And 1 second. I think the light is not enough, or is it? Let's see. It was in my face earlier on, so I think it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so the effect in this stage, a woman will essentially face reality and stop running away from it. This is a very painful. This is very painful and deeply uprooting process. It becomes an everyday battle. Okay, so an everyday battle, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Okay, the role may be the longest part of the healing process. So this final process now is the longest part of the healing process. Okay, verbal manifestations. Please give me the time. I'm working on my view of things. I'm trying every day. You can't help me. You can't help me move on. I have to do it myself. Now she's understanding that she has to do this herself now. When she's coping with her husband, the things that she's saying to her husband. Now, give me time. Please give me time now. I've accepted it. I've face the facts or whatever. Now give me time to face it now. Okay, and I have to do this myself. She has to do it herself, she said. Okay. Step M, emotion. Moving on. In this final stage, the woman will proceed to the state or condition of acceptance. So after this, now she has to accept it now. Okay, she accepts it. She knows that she's been through the reality, all that she's been going through before, anger and anxiety. Now she accepts it. The effect. This stage is usually clear. The woman's attitude and behavior will change to one of acceptance. What am I going to do? It's happened now, So I just have to live with the sister and accept it and get the reward of it. Like I keep saying, the rewards are very big rewards for the sister. If she can imagine comparing to the man, the man's action of going into jihad under that sword is coming over his head, and the fear that is in his heart, nobody can face that. Okay, nobody can face that. The man in the battlefield, about to get them chopped, or about to fight the enemy or whatever, that reward that he's getting at that particular moment, the sister accepting ta'addud, accepting the other wife, accepting what her husband's done. She gets that reward. So now she's finally accepted it. She will often begin the education process, trying to understand Islamically why her husband desires polygyny. Remember, in the beginning, we went through one of the stages where the woman was blaming herself. What have I done? Is it me? She wasn't sure what was happening. Yeah. Now she's trying to understand Islamically why her husband desires polygyny. Now we're going to go to the man's what's her name afterwards, the male psychology, and we will understand that male psychology, why a man would desire polygyny when he has a wife, or obviously, and a lot of women will say, you've got a beautiful wife, you've got a good wife, why do you want polygyny? We will reveal all that afterwards when we go to male psychology. Her iman is evidently increased, and she's again open and accepting of her husband's attention. Now, one thing I have to mention here now, you have a lot of sisters when the husbands have gone into have gone to polygyny. What they actually do is they go to these sisters, not those who will raise her iman, but they usually take the company of sisters who won't, sisters who will actually advise her wrongly and cause problems or whatever. They have to choose their friends at this time now, where they've reached this point now. Don't be friends with a sister who's going to tell you to ask for divorce or whatever. Because if you have a good husband, why are you going to ask for divorce for? We just went through that. The chef, what he mentioned. So choose your friends now. Don't choose friends that are going to tell you to ask for divorce or cause problems at home. So her iman now is evidently increased, and she's again open and accepting her husband's attention. Okay. Okay. Now the role. This stage. That's 1 second. Okay. The role. This stage has many intricate levels. The woman's acceptance will probably be based on the pure desire to move past the pain. So she's had enough of suffering. She's had enough of, causing harm to herself and her mind, her intellect, and crying all the time or whatever. She's decided to move on. Okay, it is her choice. Then it will advance to a more complex to a more complex understanding and acceptance of the male versus female nature. Okay, we understand that there are two different natures. A man's nature and a female nature is totally different. And like I said, we'll learn more about that in the next sessions. When we come to it, we're coming to the conclusion of this in one more page. Then we will move, I think, to the men's psychology. Okay. Many women find themselves being able to joke with their husband about having another wife somewhere at this stage. Okay, so now she starts joking to him. Oh, you wanted to have another wife? Hey, there you go. You got one now. Yeah, this type of thing. Now she starts joking with him. Now, you know. Oh, all this time, what did you have in your mind having another wife? You know. So, I mean, I'm just giving an example. Yeah. So, might not be in this way, but she changes her attitude now. Verbal manifestations. Allah knows what is best for me. Allah will not give me a burden I cannot bear. This is what I keep telling sisters every time, that Allah is not unjust. Allah is not unwise. He will not do something that is good for one and not good for the other. Yeah, the sisters always saying that, like, polygyny is bliss for the man and pain for the sisters. No, Allah will not give you a burden you cannot bear. This is just a test. Now she starts understanding that this is just a test for her. Allah has given her a test, and this is her test. Okay, my main goal is to get Jannah, and I don't want to mess that up by acting undignified because of something halal my husband wants to do. So at this point now she's realized that this is halal. After all this now, acting as if it was taboo, like, fighting and, asking for divorce or whatever, like, now she realizes her iman has gone back up again. Now she realizes that is something halal. He didn't, he's not been coming home drunk and, like, or taking the money and going and spend gambling or whatever. No, these are haram things, like I mentioned before about the things that Allah permitted and the things that Allah forbade. He didn't go and do something that Allah forbade. He didn't go into muta'. He didn't go into alcohol or whatever things that were prohibited. He went and done something that was halal, that Allah has given him the permission, and he went and done that. So now she starts realizing this. Okay. Physical manifestation, return to normal behavior or better behavior, increased iman, renewed desire for her husband. Now she's not telling her husband, like, give me divorce, or, like, fighting with her husband. Now she wants her husband back now. She's got, like, renewed desire for her husband. And I'm telling you one thing, when a sister sees her husband, obviously, that this jealousy issue makes her do that. Sees her husband has taken another wife. It increases that love, that desire for her husband. If she was neglecting her husband, now she's going to sit down and think, well, I can't neglect him anymore now. It's my fault, if I neglect him. So it makes her think twice, and it renews her desire for her husband. The length of time it takes a woman to maneuver through the emotional quagmire is truly dependent upon her trust, faith, and fear in Allah. See Appendix C for the Polygyny Roadmap. In the end, what most Muslim women will have to do is mentally change their ideology on marriage and what a husband means in Islam. We have to bear that in mind. We have to, because the thing is, when we think of polygyny, we don't think of it as something strange, something come from a different planet. It's marriage. Yeah, it's marriage. Just marriage to another sister. That's all. Marriage to another sister. So the things are the same. The roles are the same. He has to the husband has to feed her, clothe her, and put a roof over her head. The same thing that he had to do with the first wife. So she has to now change her ideology on marriage and what a husband means in Islam. So whatever the husband meant in the first marriage, he means the same thing in the second marriage. Yeah? So she has now to sit down and think about that. Okay. The benefits of doing so will be felt by the woman, husband, children, family, and friends. It's very important now, because the thing is that, like, if she decided not to break up her family, now she'll start feeling the benefits of it. Yeah. If she had decided to break up her family, get divorced, now she has to go out and then find a job that can pay her rent. If she also divorced, yeah, a job that has to pay the rent. If she's taken the children with her, like, cater for the children. If not, going government welfare. That is messed up the family completely now. Children schooling and this, that, and the other. Although the husband will have to give them child support, but it's a mess, yeah. Whereas now she's reached a level where she's accepted it, and the benefits of doing so, she will feel the benefits. Her husband will feel the benefit. The children will feel the benefits. The family are together again. The family are together, and children have their father around them. Okay, they'll have their father for less time, but still the father is around them. They need anything, father's there. The wife needs the husband, he's there. The family is together, kind of thing. So they start feeling the benefits. The benefit for the woman may include a sense of freedom, being able to practice her religion without having the negative feelings about one part of Islam. There's something very important here now. Yeah. That woman herself, I tend to believe that a woman, sometimes she needs to have some breathing space. Okay, she needs to have some breathing space with her husband. I'm not talking about separate. She has to go out and separate and mix it. No, I'm talking about when ta'addud is being performed, that woman doesn't have her husband around her for 3 days, depending on how many wives there are. Okay, could be 3 days, could be 4 days, could be whatever. Now that gives her a sense of freedom. Now, if she wants to kind of take on some course, she's got the time. If she wants to kind of take on some craft, gives her time to think, gives her time to sit down maybe and perfect her Quran. Husband's not around, she's got that me time, that spare time, that me time. Now she has that time to herself, and I'm sure that benefits a lot of women. A lot of women benefit from that the husband is not around. Sometimes a woman would think having him around her all the time, they're not particularly happy with that. So the benefit now, the woman, she has that freedom, okay, and she's able to practice her deen without negative feelings. For the husband, the benefits might be more obvious: a calm and peaceful household. So now that point now is reached, there's no more shouting. She's not shouting at him anymore. He's not getting blamed for doing something as if he'd done something wrong, as if he had done something haram, something taboo. That's the benefit. That he's getting. Everything's back to normal again. A calm and peaceful household. The children will benefit in general by seeing the practice of polygyny as something normal. It's not something that my dad done, and my mom is blaming him all the time. Look what your father done. He's done something haram, and they'll be brought up with that. When they get brought up with that, now they're looking into the seerah. They're looking into the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and they're seeing that the Prophet ﷺ had taken several wives. Now, how come my parents are fighting about it? How come my mom is saying that my dad done something wrong? But the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba had several wives. So for them, it becomes something abnormal now. Okay, we'll reach the one hour mark, so we'll not go too far now, and probably finish it a bit early. Again, I've got gym time today, so time to go back to the gym. Yeah, so the children now will look at it Islamically, something normal, yeah, something normal. Daddy's got another wife and another sister helping mommy, like to do whatever, like times when the mother needs to spend some time with her husband, she can send the kids to that sister. It's not her turn. That sister could babysit the kids, cook a nice little meal for them, or take them out and to eat some ice cream or whatever, while that sister has time with her husband. So the kids as well benefit in with that. Girls especially would benefit in being able to draw upon the behavior of their mother as a guide in the years to come, inshallah. Okay, very important. If you have a house with girls and they're seeing their mother all the time rejecting polygyny, rejecting it and not teaching them that this is a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and it is accepted, and then the Quran gives the permission, and all about what the ulama talk about it. When that girl gets married now, she will be against it completely, because her mother didn't give her the tarbiyah about it. She'll be completely against it. Whereas if she sees that, it's something normal, my parents are polygamous, the Sahaba were polygamous, the Prophet ﷺ, was polygamous. All his wives accepted it. All his wives, the way what's the word I'm looking for? They conducted themselves. So it's something normal. So if her husband in the future wants to go and perform polygamy, she has no problem with it then. She shouldn't have a problem with it, because she was raised with that thing. Yeah? Family and friends might be benefiting by seeing polygamy in a positive view as they exist. And most importantly, the benefit of correcting the heart and steering it to the way of Allah can earn Allah's love, forgiveness, and rewards, both in this life and the hereafter. So everybody now sees that the acceptance of the polygamy, the way it's been conducted and everything, now it's earned Allah's pleasure. Yeah, it's earned Allah's pleasure for this life and the hereafter, and the family sees it, the friends around see it, And like I mentioned earlier on, it's better to get rid of those friends who, will be causing fitna and everything in the family, and will come and take word from one wife and go and tell the other wife that she said this and she said that or whatever. No, So they would see the benefit of it, and how you can earn Allah's love, pleasure, and forgiveness for this. Okay. The conclusion now is, it should be understood that Muslims women views of polygyny is not entirely their own making. Generations of Muslim parents have raised their Muslim offspring to feel as if polygyny is a thing of the past and not ideal for honorable for Muslim women. See, I think I mentioned that a couple of lessons back. Sorry, my ears getting blocked. Yeah. I think I mentioned that a while back. Through colonization, they brought their laws and corrupted the minds of our forefathers, that this is wrong, it's taboo and everything. So now the conclusion now is saying that parents have raised their children to feel as if polygamy is a thing of the past. Shouldn't do it anymore, yeah, and it's not ideal for honorable women. Those women who came to Islam from Jahiliyyah have been raised by a society and culture that holds contempt for polygyny. So you have a lot of the people who came into Islam from Jahiliyyah. They already had the Jahiliyyah in them, contempt for polygamy, didn't like polygamy in Jahiliyyah, and they brought that view with them when they came to Islam. When
when they even those who accept who are born in Islam, their parents now have raised them to think that this is not for the women of today, and she holds contempt for polygyny. Therefore, Muslim women face the enormous task of cleansing their teachings from their hearts and minds. This is for our children, for the future. We can see how much need there is for it. If we sit down and think for a minute, the fact that I'm training to be a marriage counselor, I kind of look into these things a lot. Yeah, I kind of listen to other shuyukh talking. I kind of listen to other students of knowledge, their lessons that they're giving and everything, and we can see which position this world is going to. There's a lot of divorces, women are just asking for divorce left, right, and center, and then we have to find a solution for them. Are we going to have a world full of unmarried sisters falling in fitna and fasad? Or do we find a solution for them? So these women now who had contempt for polygyny, they must now, therefore, face the enormous task of cleansing their teachings, their hearts and their minds. The purpose of this chapter was to help in the undertaking by painting a picture, making it clear that yes, negative emotions and feelings do exist towards polygamy, but no, these emotions of feeling are not unchangeable. This is what the sisters are saying now. These feelings are changeable. You can change them. Yeah, you cannot say that they're not changeable. You can change them. Yeah, exploring the female nature outlines the picture, making it clear that women are different from men. I've mentioned that several times in virtually every way. Biologically, emotionally, and mentally. A lot of women put in their minds that we are the same. They think that we think this the same as them. So if they had polygyny, we have to hate it too. Why has he taken another wife? But obviously, they think differently. Biologically, we're made differently. Biologically, we have things that they don't have. They have things that we don't have. Allah has given to them and not to us. Although today some people are trying to make themselves like the creator and changing men's bodies and women's bodies and everything. And we know that's haram and everything, these type of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about them. Real men and real women are biologically, emotionally, and mentally different. Although the female nature carries some deficits and imperfections, it does not carry a predisposed inclination to cling to feelings of behavior that are detrimental. And we know that, there are some deficits in the woman. She has her period monthly, and like the sisters explained, it does sometimes affect her judgment. It does affect her way of thinking and everything. But it does not carry an inclination that is detrimental, okay, to her behavior. Exploring the parts of polygyny that may be the causing factor of particular emotions help to make the picture even clearer. One of the major parts of polygyny involves sharing, and as shown, if not viewed correctly, that sharing can be viewed negatively. With explaining that what these negative feelings can do to a woman physically and emotionally, the picture is completed by showing the futile and self-devastating effect on incorrect view of polygamy can result in. Okay, so where's my slippers going? Under the table, under the chair. Right. So okay. So, okay, polygyny accounts for many things today that it should not, such as being the deciding factor for breaking up a family and not marrying a man who is just.
So today, because of polygamy, I keep mentioning several times, sisters use this as an excuse to break up families. Sisters use this as an excuse to ask for divorce. I had mentioned this in the what's the name class, in the marriage counseling class. Sorry, it didn't cross my mind at all. The word wasn't coming. So, and I was told that this was very accusative of women. Yeah, saying that polygamy saying that it is a factor for breaking up the family and not marrying a man who is just. Okay. I got told that this is accusative of women, whereas now in the book itself it says that polygamy accounts for many things today that it should not. Women shouldn't use it as an excuse to refuse a good man because of polygyny. Okay, and of a good character, viewing the not marrying a man who is just and of good character, viewing those who are in polygynous relations as embarrassments or pitying them, not wanting to associate with co-wives, fearing that their own husband might then practice polygyny. Okay, so a lot of sisters kind of distance themselves from families who are polygynous, fearing that their husband will take another wife. So they think, and it's an embarrassment. Oh, poor sister, her husband has gone taken another wife. Oh my God, don't hang around her. Don't hang around and stay away from her, stay far away from her. Okay, that their own husband might practice polygyny, and the list goes on. The entire perception of polygyny must change for believing women. With the help of Allah, it can happen. Allah says in the Quran that He will not change a people who do not change themselves. He will not help a people who do not help themselves. Okay, I'm just paraphrasing that verse. We know what Allah means there. That obviously, if we don't change ourselves, then Allah will not help us, will not change us. So the believing woman will change with the help of Allah. What we have seen for many women that we have come across who personally experience polygyny in some way is that after getting to the point of changing their views, thoughts, and feelings about it, they become happier and more satisfied with their lives. Okay? They've been through it. We saw how in the book now how they've been through it. They went through the emotions, the heartache, the this, the that, and then what happens to them? They feel more happy after that. Okay, they learned how to love their husbands truly for the sake of Allah first, and put the worldly love for them second. That's one thing we have to realize here now. Who do we love more? We love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than even our own husbands. And our own husbands, we will lose them. Anytime a woman can lose her husband, a husband can lose his wife. But Allah will always remain. So the love of Allah has to be above the love for the husband. So what pleases Allah, what makes Allah happy, has to be put first. Yeah? Al-wala wal bara. Yeah. So we have to put what Allah loves first, and then what our the love for our husbands, creating a deeper and more compassionate and meaningful relationship with them. Like I mentioned earlier on, that woman now, she would love her husband even more, because she will compete with the other woman to be the one that will be with her husband in Jannah. If she divorces him, then obviously she doesn't become his wife in Jannah. Okay, she doesn't come to her husband's wife in Jannah. That means she doesn't love him. She's left him. So once she goes through all that, her love becomes deeper and more compassionate and meaningful. That was unknown before. Sorry, I keep getting my ear blocked every time. Yeah, they lost
they lost their fear of polygyny that had previously caused them anger and apprehension when the subject is merely mentioned. Yeah, before that, whenever you just mention the subject, the wife goes crazy, or she goes mad, and so wants to start trouble or whatever. Whereas now, after she's gone through this stage and everything, she doesn't feel as angry as she was before, and there's no more fighting and everything. They found the peace within their hearts on this issue that they had not known before, and felt like a weight had been lifted off their hearts, and a lot of anger has gone from their lives. Their relationship with Allah has strengthened. See, we mentioned about the final phase, the iman increases. The iman increases, the connection with Allah is more, and it mentions here that their relationship with Allah has strengthened. Their relationship with their husband lost an issue of contention and broadened with love and mercy between them. Okay? An emotional strength was gained across the board, and that was able to aid them in many aspects of their lives. All in all, the majority sentiment among these women is that their lives and their marriages were greatly improved with serenity and joy as a result of their personal acceptance of polygyny. There are some sisters in the group that we're in. What's the name? The polygyny group that we're in, the Facebook polygyny group that they're in. I can tell you there are some sisters that have gone through that phase now. They've gone through the phase of anger and and they've gone through the phase now of coming up and posting how happy they are with the co-wives, and how they're getting on together, how this has changed their lives. So they're going through what the sister is saying now. Okay. All in all, the majority sentiment among these women is that their lives and their marriages were greatly improved with serenity and joy as a result of their personal acceptance of polygyny. This test for many Muslim women is strenuous and difficult, but achieving the goal for placing polygyny in its place clearly has great rewards. Okay. So we'll stop there. Oh, where's my mouse? Yeah, okay. We'll stop there. And then next week, inshallah, we will start the Muslim man. Now we will go into the psychology of the man. The Muslim man, why? Why does the Muslim man desire to marry more than one wife? It's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting now, and I'm looking forward to this, because a lot of answers that sisters have will come out from there now. Yeah? A lot of answers. Why? A lot of sisters have asked me, why do you want to, why do you want to take another wife? Thinking deficiency here. We'll go through it. Yeah. So we will start on page 92. Next session, from monogamy to polygamy, a way through, and we're going to the psychology of the man, the Muslim man. Why? Okay. So I hope that you have benefited from this. Whatever wrong that I've said, it comes from me, and whatever good that you have got from there, it is from Allah. Allah is the creator of all things, and He's the one who gives us the whatever good comes from Him. And if there is something that I've said wrong, please forgive me, and please ask Allah in your du'as to give me more knowledge that I can share with you, and that Allah gives me health and strength and long life, so that I can share with you the knowledge that I have. And I hope that I'm doing a good job of it, and I hope that you're benefiting from it. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Okay, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and we'll see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.